Before you hear another word, take a deep breath and let the noise of the world fade for just a moment. I know your mind has been running non-stop, worrying about tomorrow, replaying every what if and how will I make it. In your head, you've been carrying the weight of uncertainty, feeling as though the ground beneath you could give way at any moment. But right now, I want you to imagine something. What if this moment, right here, is the turning point? What if you didn't click this video by accident, but because heaven wanted to speak directly to your heart? You've been waiting for a sign, and here it is. God has not forgotten you. Every prayer you've whispered in the quiet hours, every tear you've wiped away when no one was watching, He's seen them all. And today, He's responding. I know money is on your mind. It's not just about numbers in a bank account. It's about survival, about dignity, about being able to care for the ones you love without the constant knot of worry in your chest. Maybe you've tried everything, worked longer hours, cut back on what you could, and still it feels like it's never enough. But here's what you need to know. God's provision is not limited by the walls you see around you. He has resources you can't yet imagine, doors that haven't even appeared in your life yet, and ways of blessing you that don't make sense to the human mind. Just like He provided manna in the desert for the Israelites daily, faithfully, without fail, He can provide for you in this very season. I'm not here to give you empty promises. I'm here to remind you of a truth that can steady your heart. You are in the hands of the One who owns it all. He doesn't just see your need, He feels it with you. The pressure you feel right now is not the end. It's a setup for a story of provision you will one day tell others. The breakthrough you've been praying for could be closer than you think, hidden in a phone call you haven't received yet, an opportunity you didn't expect, or even a stranger who becomes the answer to your prayer. And when that blessing comes, it will do more than meet a need. It will be a reminder that you were never alone, not for a single moment. You see, sometimes God allows us to come to the edge of ourselves, not to harm us, but to show us that we were never meant to carry this load alone. You've been trying to solve everything in your own strength, calculating, recalculating, looking for ways to stretch every dollar, and yet feeling like you're falling behind. But the Lord is whispering to your heart even now, rest in me. It's in these moments when we feel like we've reached the end that His hand moves in ways we can't explain. Think about it. Some of your biggest breakthroughs in life came after seasons when you thought you couldn't go any further. And right now, He's aligning people, circumstances, and opportunities behind the scenes, things you can't yet see, but will soon step into. All you have to do is trust the process, because the author of your story already knows the ending, and it's filled with provision, peace, and joy. I know the world teaches us to depend on what we can control, to keep our eyes on the numbers, to hold tight to every coin, to live in fear that it might run out. But God's kingdom operates differently. In His economy, giving and generosity open the floodgates for receiving. Faith unlocks what fear tries to steal. When you choose to believe that He is your ultimate source, you position yourself for miracles that defy logic. Look back at your own life. Hasn't He always found a way? Maybe it didn't come in the exact form you imagined, but the help always arrived in time. Today, He wants you to release that tight grip on worry and instead hold on tightly to Him. Because when you do, your perspective shifts from "I don't have enough" to "My Father owns it all." And that truth alone can break the chains of financial fear that have been wrapping around your heart. So today, instead of letting anxiety dictate your steps, choose to let faith lead you. Imagine waking up tomorrow not with dread, but with anticipation, wondering not if God will provide, but how He will choose to do it. That shift in your heart is where the miracle begins. Speak life over your situation, even if your eyes can't yet see the change. Thank Him in advance for the provision that's on its way. Picture yourself telling the story in the near future. I didn't know how I was going to make it, but God made a way. And as you hold on to that vision, remember this: every delay, every closed door, every unanswered call wasn't a sign of His absence, but part of the preparation for a blessing that will arrive at the perfect time. Trust Him, because your miracle is already in motion. There's something powerful that happens when you stop focusing on what you lack and start focusing on the One who lacks nothing. Right now, your mind might be listing every reason why things can't work out: every overdue payment, every debt, every empty space where you wish there was abundance. But God is not intimidated by numbers. He doesn't panic at the sight of bills. He doesn't need favorable market conditions to bless you. In fact, He often works in seasons where logic says it's impossible, just so you'll know that it was Him and not chance that turned things round. Think of the widow who had nothing but a small jar of oil when she obeyed and poured it out. In faith, it never ran dry. That's the God you serve. A God who multiplies the little you have until it becomes more than enough. And He's whispering to your heart now, I can do the same for you if you will trust me. But trusting Him doesn't mean sitting still and doing nothing. It means moving forward with faith, even when you can't see the outcome. It's sending out that application when you've already been rejected. It's making the call you've been putting off because you fear the answer. It's stepping into opportunities that seem too small, only to discover they are the stepping stones to something greater. God works through action, but it's faith that fuels the steps. Your obedience in this season is planting seeds for the provision that is coming. You might not see the harvest yet, but just because you can't see it doesn't mean it's not growing beneath the surface. Heaven's timeline doesn't always match our own, but when the appointed time comes, the blessing will be undeniable. And when that provision arrives, it will not just meet your needs, it will overflow into the lives of others. That's the way God works. He doesn't bless you so you can live with a clenched fist, but so you can live with open hands. Imagine the testimony you'll carry. How in your lowest financial moment, God came through in a way you could never have orchestrated yourself. Imagine being able to tell someone else, don't give up. If He did it for me, He can do it for you. That story will not only strengthen your own faith, but will ignite hope in the hearts of others who feel like giving up. You will become living proof that God's promises are not just words in a book, but living realities for those who believe. And it all begins here, with the decision to trust Him in this very moment. There's a quiet strength that rises in you when you choose to believe God's word over the voice of fear. Fear says, there's not enough, you'll never make it. Faith says, my God will supply all my needs according to His riches in glory. And here's the truth, those riches are infinite. Heaven is not on a budget. There is no shortage in God's storehouse, no economic crisis in His kingdom. You are connected to a source that cannot run dry, even when the world around you is shaking. Every sunrise is proof that He is still in control. Every breath you take is evidence that He hasn't finished with you yet. If He woke you up today, it means there is still a plan in motion, still a door waiting to be opened, still a provision with your name on it. And even now, in ways you can't see, He's moving pieces into place so that when the moment comes, you will step right into the blessing prepared for you. Sometimes, God allows a delay not to punish you, but to protect you. Maybe you've been asking for provision in one way, but He knows that if He gave it to you now, it wouldn't sustain you for long. So He's preparing something better, something that doesn't just cover your need today, but secures your future. Think about Joseph in the Bible. Before he could manage the abundance of Egypt, he had to endure years of uncertainty and hardship. Yet, when the moment came, he was ready not just to survive, but to save an entire nation. What you are walking through right now might be your preparation ground. Every challenge is sharpening your faith. Every obstacle is strengthening your trust. And every closed door is guiding you toward the one that will open wide and never shut again. And when it happens, when God releases that provision, you will realize that the waiting was worth it. You will see that He wasn't just giving you money. He was giving you testimony, character, and unshakable faith. The same God who turned water into wine, who multiplied bread and fish, who placed gold in the mouth of a fish for His disciples. Tax is the same God who is watching over you right now. Your situation is not too small for Him to care about, and it's not too big for Him to solve. Hold on, because the blessing you've been praying for might not be months away. It could be hours away, and when it arrives, you'll know without a shadow of doubt that it was God's hand, and His alone, that brought it to you. There's a moment, often right before the breakthrough, when the pressure feels the heaviest. It's the place where your faith is stretched to its limit, where your thoughts whisper that maybe God has forgotten you, and your heart wonders how much longer you can hold on. But I need you to hear this: what you are feeling is not abandonment. It's the tension before the release. Just like the night is darkest right before the dawn, Your season of waiting often feels most intense just before the miracle manifests. You've been standing in faith, even with trembling knees, and heaven has taken notice. God's silence is never absent sometimes. It is the final moment of preparation before He opens the windows of heaven and pours out what you have been praying for. If you could see what is already on its way, you would not doubt for a single second longer. I want you to picture this somewhere right now. There's a conversation happening about you, and you're not even in the room. There's a decision being made, a heart being moved, an opportunity being prepared, and when it reaches you, it will feel like it came out of nowhere. But in reality, God has been orchestrating every detail behind the curtain. The blessing may come through someone you least expect, through a door you didn't even knock on, or in the form of an idea that suddenly shifts everything. He has infinite ways to bring provision, and none of them depend on the limits you see around you. So instead of asking, will He provide? Start asking, how will He surprise me this time? That change in your perspective will keep your heart in a place of expectation, which is where miracles love to show up. And here's what I know: you will not just survive this season. You will come out of it with a story so powerful that it will inspire others for years to come. The same God who sustained Elijah with food brought by ravens, who kept oil flowing in a widow's home until the famine passed, is the same God who will meet your need today. You may think you're down to your last resource, but God's provision never runs on empty. He is not finished writing your story, and the next chapter will be filled with evidence of His faithfulness. So hold your head high, even in the middle of the struggle, because your current circumstances are not the final word. His promise is. And His promise says that you will be provided for, you will be sustained, and you will see His hand move in ways that will leave you in awe. Right now, I want you to take a moment and let your mind rest from the constant cycle of how you've been wearing yourself out trying to figure out every step, every solution, every possible path to get out of this tight place. But the truth is, God never asked you to figure it all out. He asked you to trust Him. When the Israelites stood at the edge of the Red Sea, there was no bridge, no boat, no visible way forward. To their eyes, it was an impossible wall of water, but to God, it was just another opportunity to show His power. In a single moment, the sea opened, and the path appeared where there had been none. That's what He is about to do for you. Create a way where you can't see one. Shift something so suddenly that all your fears will be silenced by the reality of His provision. You don't need to see the details to know that He's working. You just need to trust the one who holds them all. And here's the beauty of His timing. When God provides, it's never late, but it's also never rushed. He knows exactly what needs to happen in your life and exactly when it needs to happen, so that the blessing won't just come, it will last. There are things He's aligning right now that are bigger than a financial breakthrough. He's also bringing peace to your heart, restoring hope to your mind, and building a deeper level of faith in your spirit. Because when you come out of this season, you won't just have your needs met. You'll have a new confidence in Him that no storm can shake. The money will come, yes, but so will a renewed sense of His nearness, and that will be worth even more than the provision itself. So while you wait, don't waste the waiting. Use this time to speak life over your situation every single day. Wake up and declare, "My God is my provider. He has never failed me, and He will not fail me now." Read His promises out loud until they are louder than the voice of fear. Look for small signs of His provision because they are there, and let them remind you that the bigger breakthrough is already on the way. And when it comes, you will see that He wasn't just meeting a financial need. He was rewriting the way you see Him, the way you see yourself, and the way you see your future. This moment is not the end of your story, it's the setup for the chapter that will make you say, "Only God could have done this." There's a reason God often meets us in our most desperate moments. It's because that's when our hearts are most open to truly see Him. When life is comfortable, when the bank account is full, when every plan is going smoothly, we can easily forget that every good thing comes from His hand. But in seasons like the one you're in now, where the weight feels heavy and the path looks uncertain, you start to realize how deeply you depend on Him. And that dependence is not weakness, it's the very place where faith is forged. Every tear you've cried over your finances, every prayer you've whispered into the silence, every moment you've wondered if God was even listening, Those have been seeds planted in the soil of faith. And I promise you this, no seed of faith ever goes unnoticed by the one who waters them with his love and brings them to life in his perfect time. The provision you've been praying for isn't just about putting food on the table or paying a bill. It's about God showing you that he is the source you can rely on forever. Maybe you've been tempted to believe that the only way out is through human help, a lucky break, or your own hustle. But God is saying, I am your provider. I am your covering. I am your abundance. And when he moves, it won't just meet the need, it will leave no doubt that it was his hand. Just like when Peter pulled up the nets overflowing with fish after catching nothing all night. Your blessing will not just be enough, it will be more than enough, to the point where you won't be able to contain your gratitude. He's not preparing you for a small rescue, he's preparing you for an undeniable miracle. So today, lift your head, even if the circumstances haven't changed yet. Begin to thank him as if the answer is already here, because in the spiritual realm, it is. Heaven has already heard your cry, and the answer is already in motion. The reason it hasn't reached your hands yet is not because God is slow, but because he is precise. He knows the exact day, the exact hour, the exact moment when your breakthrough will have the greatest impact, not only for you, but for everyone who will witness it. And when it happens, you will carry a testimony that says, I was in need, and God showed up in a way I never imagined. That story will live in your heart forever, reminding you that no matter what comes, you can trust him to provide again and again. Sometimes the greatest challenge in a season of lack is not the empty bank account, it's the constant battle in your mind. You wake up thinking about the problem, you go through your day feeling the weight of it, and you lie down at night with the same questions swirling in your head. How will I make it? What if it doesn't work out? What if help never comes? That mental storm can be even heavier than the financial burden itself. But God wants to speak peace into that storm right now. He's reminding you that he is not just the provider of money, he is the provider of rest, clarity, and peace of mind. He is able to quiet the noise in your thoughts and replace it with the steady assurance that he's in control. And when your heart finds that peace, you'll begin to see opportunities and solutions that fear had been blocking from your vision all along. The enemy would love for you to believe that you are abandoned, forgotten, and alone in this struggle. He would love to convince you that you've been left to figure it out by yourself. But the truth is, heaven has been walking with you in every step, even in the moments you couldn't feel it. Every delay you've experienced wasn't God turning his back on you, it was him making sure that what he sends will not only meet the need, but come in such a way that it builds your faith for the future. There's a provision that is just enough, but then there's the kind of provision God gives, the kind that comes with perfect timing, perfect size, and perfect purpose. And when it arrives, it will be so evident that it was orchestrated by him. You'll find yourself telling everyone about it. And here's something I need you to understand. Your financial miracle is already written into your story. God is not scrambling to figure out how to help you. He's already done it. It's already planned, already prepared, already set in motion. You're simply walking toward the moment when the invisible becomes visible. The gap between your prayer and your provision is where trust is built, where faith is strengthened, and where testimonies are born. So keep your eyes lifted, keep your heart expectant, and refuse to let fear write the end of your story. Because the author of your life is still holding the pen, and the next page he's about to turn is filled with the breakthrough you've been waiting for. There will come a moment, sooner than you think, when you'll look back on this exact season and realize that it wasn't just about getting through. It was about being transformed in the process. You will remember the nights when you prayed, through tears, the mornings when you woke up still unsure of how the day would end. And you will see how every single step was guiding you to something greater. Right now, it might feel like you're walking in the dark, but God is lighting your path one step at a time. You may not see the entire road ahead, but you can trust that the one leading you knows exactly where he's taking you. And when the breakthrough comes, it will be so perfectly timed that you'll understand why it couldn't have happened a day sooner or a day later. Think about this. Every delay has been an investment in your growth. God has been teaching you resilience, patience, and a deeper kind of faith that doesn't crumble when circumstances shake. He's been training your heart to depend on him fully, so that when abundance comes, you'll know how to steward it well. There are blessings that can come too soon and end up hurting us because we weren't ready to handle them, but that will not be your story. Your blessing will meet you when you are prepared to receive it, protect it, and multiply it. This is why you can hold your peace even now, because what God is preparing for you is not just temporary relief. It's a lasting change in your life, and when the provision finally arrives, it won't be small or quiet. It will carry the kind of weight that silences every doubt, every fear, every lie the enemy has whispered to you in the dark. You will have your own only God moment, the kind of testimony that causes others to believe because they can see that it had nothing to do with luck and everything to do with divine intervention. And from that day forward, anytime lack tries to knock at your door again, you will remember this moment and say with confidence, I've seen God provide before, and He will do it again. This is not just about today's need, it's about shaping a faith that will carry you for the rest of your life. There's a point in every great story where the tension is at its highest, and that's when the breakthrough comes rushing in. You are standing right at the edge of that moment. What feels like the heaviest weight you've ever carried is actually the final stretch, before the answer you've been praying for becomes reality. It's not by accident that you've come this far and still haven't given up. That perseverance you feel inside, even on the days when you thought you had no strength left, is proof that God has been sustaining you every step of the way. He hasn't been watching from a distance. He's been holding you up, carrying you when your legs couldn't move, and whispering hope into your spirit when you were ready to quit. And now, He's bringing you to the place where His promise and your faith collide, and the result will be undeniable provision. In the days to come, you will witness things falling into place so perfectly that it will feel as if they were designed just for you, because they were. The phone call that comes at the exact moment you need it, the unexpected check that arrives in the mail, the opportunity that shows up out of nowhere and changes everything. These are not coincidences. They are divine fingerprints, marking your life with God's unmistakable touch. You'll begin to see how every delay was actually alignment, how every closed door was protection, and how every not yet was leading you to a right now that could only have come from heaven. And when it happens, your heart will overflow with gratitude, not just for the provision, but for the journey that taught you to trust the provider. And here's what will make your testimony so powerful: you won't just be telling people what God did for you, you'll be telling them who He became to you in the process. Yes, you'll have the story of how the bills were paid, how the need was met, how the provision came in time, but you'll also carry something far greater: the deep, unshakable knowledge that your life is in the hands of a faithful Father who will never let you down. That's the treasure no amount of money can buy. That's the real wealth you'll walk away with. And every time you tell your story, you'll see it happen again. Faith will rise, hope will be restored, and hearts will remember that with God, there is always a way. There comes a moment when God's provision doesn't just meet the need, it takes your breath away. That's the kind of moment He is preparing for you right now. You will see Him move in such a way that it leaves no room for doubt, no space for you to think it was coincidence or luck. It will be so precise, so personal, that you'll know it was orchestrated by His hand alone. And when it comes, it won't just fill the gap, it will overflow. You will have more than enough, not just to cover what was missing, but to bless others, to give generously, and to walk with the freedom that comes from knowing your Father owns it all. This is the kind of blessing that shifts your heart from constant worry to constant worship. But before that moment arrives, God is also doing something inside of you. He's reshaping your trust, refining your faith, and teaching you to lean on Him in a way you never have before. Because the truth is, provision without transformation can be wasted. He wants you to step into this next season not just relieved that the problem is solved, but stronger, wiser, and more anchored in Him than ever. This is why He hasn't simply dropped the answer in your lap on the first day you asked, because He's been preparing you to carry it. And when it comes, you won't be afraid of losing it, because you'll know the same God who gave it to you once can give it again. And here's the promise you can hold on to right now. Your story is not ending here. You are not going to be stuck in this cycle forever. God is already ahead of you, arranging every detail so that when your provision arrives, it comes with peace, joy, and a testimony that will light up the faith of everyone who hears it. You will tell this story for years, not as a moment of desperation, but as the turning point when God showed up and changed everything. So hold your head up, speak His promises over your life, and stay ready because the next chapter is about to begin, and it will be filled with abundance you didn't see coming. There is something unexplainably beautiful about the moment when what you've been praying for finally meets you. It's like the breaking of dawn after the longest night. The shadows retreat, the cold fades, and light begins to pour in from every direction. That's the moment God is preparing for you right now. Soon, you will see how every sleepless night, every anxious thought, and every tear you cried was not wasted. They were all leading you to this turning point. And when it arrives, you will feel the weight you've been carrying suddenly lift, replaced by a deep peace that tells you, it's done. You won't have to fight for it, force it, or chase it because what God has for you will find you right where you are. This is why it's so important that you don't give up in these final moments before your breakthrough. The enemy would love to convince you that nothing is changing, that all your prayers have been for nothing. But if you could see into the unseen, you would know that heaven has already released the answer. It's moving toward you even now, passing through the right hands, navigating the right circumstances, aligning with the perfect timing. And when it reaches you, it will not only provide what you need, it will confirm every promise God has spoken over your life. You'll know, without a doubt, that you were never forsaken, never overlooked, and never forgotten. And from that moment on, your perspective on money, provision, and even life itself will change forever. You will no longer live with the constant fear of what if there's not enough, because you will have seen firsthand that God's resources never run out. You will start to walk with a quiet confidence, knowing that no matter what comes, your Father in heaven is your source. That peace will become a shield over your heart, protecting you from the lies of fear and doubt. And every time someone else feels the weight you're feeling now, you will be able to look them in the eyes and say with certainty, I've been where you are. I know what it feels like, and I know the God who brings you out. The truth is, what God is preparing for you is bigger than just meeting a financial need. It's about rewriting the way you see Him and the way you see yourself. You've walked through a season where every day felt like a test of faith, where you had to choose to believe even when nothing around you made sense. But this has not been wasted time. It has been training ground. You have been learning to listen for His voice in the quiet, to trust His heart when His hand seemed hidden, and to depend on His promises when your own strength wasn't enough. And now, you're about to see the reward of that trust in a way that will leave you in awe. The provision that is coming will be a reminder for the rest of your life that God is not only able, He is willing, and He is faithful. When it happens, it won't just be about the money, it will be about the undeniable presence of God in your situation. You'll feel it in the timing, in the way every detail fits together perfectly, in the peace that settles over you the moment it arrives. And that's when you'll realize this was never about whether or not God could provide. It was about Him showing you that He is the provider, not just once, but for every season of your life. This miracle will be a seed that grows into a lifetime of faith. Whenever you face another need, you'll remember this moment, and it will silence fear before it even has a chance to speak. That's how deeply He's about to mark your heart through what He's about to do. So hold on just a little longer. Don't let the weight of today make you forget the promises over your tomorrow. The blessing is already on its way, and when it comes, it will bring more than relief. It will bring restoration, joy, and a renewed vision for your future. And when people ask you how it happened, you will be able to smile and say, I can't explain it in my own strength. All I know is it was God. That's the testimony you're about to carry. That's the story you're about to tell. And it will be so powerful that it won't just change your life, it will inspire faith in everyone who hears it. You are standing at the threshold of a moment that will change everything. This isn't just another chapter in your life, it's the one you'll look back on and say, that was the day God showed me who He really is. Right now, you might still feel the tension, the uncertainty, the questions without answers. But in the spiritual realm, the shift has already happened. Heaven has already said yes over your situation. The provision you've been waiting for is not in question, it's in transit. And when it arrives, it will do more than fill your hands. It will fill your heart with a faith so strong that no storm will ever be able to shake it again. God's Blessing will not just visit you, it will take up residence in your life. And here's the part that will leave you in awe. You will see how God used every single obstacle as a stepping stone toward this moment. The doors that closed on you, the opportunities that slipped away, the delays that made you cry out in frustration, they were all necessary to guide you to the exact place where you could receive what is coming. If any of those things had happened differently, the blessing you're about to receive would not have been possible. That's how intentional your Father is. He's not only providing for your need, He's aligning it in such a way that it will exceed every expectation you've been holding in your heart. When the breakthrough comes, it will bring a wave of gratitude that you won't be able to contain. You'll find yourself telling your story to anyone who will listen, not because you wanted to boast, but because you'll be unable to keep quiet about the goodness you've seen. Your voice will become a light for others walking through their own seasons of lack, and they'll see in your eyes the truth you now know deep in your soul, that God never abandons His children, that His timing is always perfect, and that His provision is always more than enough. This is not just the end of a season of struggle, it's the beginning of a new chapter of abundance, peace, and unshakable trust. And now, as we step into the final moments of this message, I want you to let this truth sink deep into your heart. You are seen, you are known, and you are cared for in ways you can't even imagine. God has never taken His eyes off you, not for a second. Every moment you thought you were forgotten, every night you cried in silence, every day you forced a smile while carrying the weight alone, He was there. He was watching, not from a distance, but right beside you. And today, He wants you to know that what you have been waiting for is not lost, it's coming. The same God who spoke light into existence, who parted seas, who rained bread from heaven, is the God who is about to meet your need in a way that will leave you breathless. When this provision arrives, it will carry something that money alone could never buy: peace. Not the kind of peace that comes from knowing you have enough for today, but the kind that anchors you, that whispers to your soul, you will always be taken care of. This peace will allow you to rest even in the face of uncertainty, because you'll have proof, tangible proof, that God's promises are not just words, they are living, breathing realities for those who believe. And as you hold that blessing in your hands, you'll realize that what God was building in you was far greater than what you were asking for. He wasn't just preparing the provision, He was preparing the provider within you, the person who now knows how to trust without fear. So take heart, stand firm, keep your eyes lifted. The answer is closer than it's ever been, and when it arrives, it will do more than change your circumstances, it will change you. This is the moment where your faith turns into sight, where your hope becomes reality, where your prayers take form, and when you tell your story, you won't say, "I made it." You will say, "God brought me through." That will be the banner over this season of your life, a testimony that points to His faithfulness, His perfect timing, and His endless provision. You are days, maybe even hours, away from holding in your hands what you've been holding in your heart. And when you do, you'll know it was worth every step of the journey. I want you to imagine right now, the moment your breakthrough arrives. Picture the relief washing over you, the deep breath you didn't even realize you were holding finally being released. Picture the way your heart will feel light again, how your shoulders will relax when the weight is lifted. This isn't a distant dream, it's the reality God is leading you toward. And when it happens, it won't just be about what's in your hands, it will be about the transformation in your heart. You'll know that the same God who came through for you this time will come through for you again, no matter what the future holds. That's a freedom no amount of money can buy, the unshakable knowledge that heaven is your source. This is why you can start praising Him now, before the answer arrives. Praise is the sound of faith in motion. It's telling God, "I believe you've already made a way, even when your eyes can't see it yet." And that faith moves mountains, that faith opens doors, that faith unlocks blessings that have been waiting for the moment your heart says, "I trust you completely." Let your words today be filled with life, not lack. Let your thoughts be filled with gratitude for what's coming, instead of fear about what's missing. Because your expectation is like a magnet for God's provision. It pulls the unseen into the seen, the promised into the present. So here's the prophetic truth over your life right now. Your waiting season is turning into a testimony. You will not only have enough, but you will see overflow. You will go from wondering how to declaring, "Look what the Lord has done." And that declaration will not be quiet, it will echo in your family, your friends, your community. People will see the change in your life and know it was God's hand. And in that moment, you will remember this very message and realize it was preparing you for exactly what He was about to do. Get ready, because what you've been praying for is already on its way. And when it gets here, you will stand in awe and say, "It was worth the wait." There's a holy weight to the moment when God's promise finally touches your reality. It's as if the air shifts, the heaviness lifts, and your spirit knows this is it. You'll feel it deep in your soul before you even see it with your eyes, that quiet assurance that the waiting has not been in vain. And when the blessing lands in your hands, it will carry the fingerprints of heaven so precise, so personal, that you'll have no choice but to acknowledge, "This was my Father's doing." Every sleepless night will suddenly make sense. Every unanswered prayer will reveal its purpose. And every delay will be understood as divine strategy, not neglect. You will see how God didn't just answer you, He exceeded you. And here's the beauty: you won't just keep this moment for yourself. You'll become a carrier of hope for others. The same comfort you're about to receive will flow through you to encourage those still waiting for their own breakthrough. When they say, "I don't know how I'm going to make it," you'll be able to say with confidence, "I've been there, and I know the God who provides." Your testimony will be living proof that God's word is unshakable and His timing is flawless. And as you speak it, you'll feel the gratitude rise all over again, because the miracle won't just be a what-time event, it will be a daily reminder that you are under the care of a faithful Father. So as we stand at this point in your story, I want you to hold on to this truth with everything you've got. You are closer than you think. The answer is already on the way. The provision is already prepared, and the miracle is already written into your timeline. All that's left is for you to stay in faith until it meets you. Keep speaking life over your situation. Keep thanking Him in advance, and keep your heart open for the unexpected ways He may choose to move. Because very soon, you will stand in the place where need turns into abundance, where prayers turn into praise, and where your story will forever declare God did it, and He'll do it again. There is something about the final stretch before a breakthrough that tests every fiber of your being. It's the place where doubt shouts the loudest, where circumstances look the most impossible, and where you're tempted to believe that nothing is moving. But in heaven's reality, this is the exact moment when the miracle is closest. It's like the seed that stays hidden under the soil. There's no visible sign of growth. Yet under the surface it's breaking open, pushing through, preparing to rise. That's what's happening in your life right now. What you've been praying for is already sprouting in the unseen, and very soon, it will break through into the visible. When it does, it will be so sudden and so complete that you'll go from waiting to receiving in the blink of an eye. And when that moment comes, you won't just receive provision, you'll receive perspective. You'll see how God's delays were actually His protection, how His not yet was His way of saving you for something better, and how the moments you thought were the hardest were actually the ones that prepared you to hold the blessing without fear of losing it. This shift inside you will be just as valuable as the blessing itself, because it will shape the way you face every challenge that comes after. You'll no longer panic when needs arise, because you'll carry living proof that your Father knows how to provide, even in the most impossible situations. So as you wait for this final turn in your story, keep your faith alive. Keep praising Him for what's on the way. Keep imagining the moment when you'll be able to stand and say, "It happened. God did it." That declaration will not just be words. It will be a memorial in your spirit, a milestone you can look back on whenever the enemy tries to make you doubt again. And from that day forward, your life will carry a new boldness, a deeper peace, and an unshakable trust in the one who never fails. You are almost there, so hold on just a little longer. I need you to lean in right now, because we are standing at the very edge of your turning point. You've walked through nights that felt endless, days that seemed heavy, and moments when hope felt like it was slipping through your fingers. But here you are, still standing, still believing, even if it's been with shaky faith. And that's all God has needed from you, not perfection, not flawless strength, but a heart that refuses to let go. This is the soil where miracles grow, and what's about to happen in your life will be so precise, so perfectly timed, that you will know. It could only have come from the one who knows you better than you know yourself. When this provision comes, it will not be quiet. It will announce itself in such a way that you will feel the atmosphere around you shift. The fear that has lingered in your mind will have no choice but to leave. The weight that has been pressing on your chest will lift, and you will breathe differently, freer, deeper, lighter. And as you hold the answer in your hands, your heart will immediately recognize, this is my Father's handwriting all over it. There will be details that speak to you personally, details that no one else would understand. But you'll know they are there, because God wanted you to see His love in the answer itself. And when it happens, you won't just rejoice for yourself, you will become a beacon for others. Your testimony will light fires of hope in people who have been walking in their own dark nights. They will hear your story and find the courage to keep going. They will look at you and see living proof that God is still in the business of providing, still in the business of coming through at the perfect time. This moment will not just change your life, it will ripple outward, touching lives you don't even know yet. And that's how God works. He blesses you, and then uses your blessing to bless the world. And now, we arrive at this final moment, not the end of your story, but the doorway into a brand new chapter. I want you to hear me clearly. What you've been waiting for is already on the way. Heaven has signed off on it. The delays you've faced were not denials, they were preparations. God has been working in the background, weaving together people, resources, and opportunities so that when the blessing arrives, it will fit perfectly into your life. There will be no struggle to hold on to it, no fear of losing it, because it will be exactly what you need, exactly when you need it. And when it comes, you'll look back on this season and say, now I see, every step was leading me here. This provision will be more than just financial relief, it will be a divine statement over your life. It will say, I see you, I know you, I will never abandon you. And in that moment, your heart will overflow with a gratitude so deep that it will turn into worship. You will lift your hands, not just because your needs have been met, but because you've encountered the faithfulness of God in a personal and undeniable way. And that encounter will stay with you for the rest of your life, no matter what storms come in the future. You will have this testimony engraved in your soul. God did it for me before, and He will do it again. So, as we close this message, I want you to carry this with you. Your waiting season is ending, your provision is on its way, and your testimony is about to be written in bold letters for the world to see. Hold on to your faith like a torch in the dark, because very soon, you will step into the light of answered prayer. And when you do, remember to tell your story, because someone else needs the hope you're about to hold in your hands. This is not just your breakthrough. It's the beginning of a ripple of blessings that will touch more lives than you can count. Get ready. The miracle is closer than you think.